I got a game-changing brand new plugin to show you. So I'm currently working on sound designing some new sounds for my Analog Crate Volume 2 one-shot kit. And I have a really cool idea for shaping sounds using a new plugin that Neural DSP sent over to me. And it literally just dropped a few days ago. So I'm gonna get a little bit more into that later, but I'm gonna start working on a new patch. So if you've used my one-shots before, you know that my sounds are very unique. And I like my sounds to be like evolving and sound very inspiring off the bat. So I have a lot of integrated effects into them and I stack a lot of layers on top of each sound. So it's a lot more going on than just one single constant note when you're playing the one shot. By the way, real quick, I'm just editing the video. The part where I said this cut off originally, but the point of me saying all this was this is exactly where mantra comes in later in the video. It helped me to sculpt the sounds to achieve like a more unique and usable tone. But yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick. You'll see exactly how I use it to make literally one of my favorite one-shots I've ever made. But yeah, back to the video. All right, so I just have a basic saw wave right now. First thing I'm gonna do is bring in a second saw wave. And I'm gonna slightly detune these to give it a bigger sound. Cool. And then what I'm gonna do is go to the first one and then I'm gonna route my LFO to the pitch. So if I really exaggerate this, you can hear that it's moving and I'm gonna bring this way down. No more than 2. So probably about 1.2 will do. And the point in doing this is to kind of replicate the analog imperfections that come with using analog gear. So I'm doing the same thing with the second LFO. Now I'm gonna bring in a little bit of noise. One thing I will say though is that I like to use the brown or the red noise. Use the brown noise. Alright, so this is when I get to show y'all the real magic. So if I go in here and open up this plugin called Mantra. By the way, real quick, I feel like I should mention this. If you don't know who Neural DSP is, who are the creators of Mantra, they're one of the most renowned brands in terms of guitar processing. So they're very good at, you know, like shaping tones, things like that. And that is really what this Mantra plugin shines in, is not just for vocals but shaping tones in general. So I like to use this on my vocals but also instruments, which we'll get into in a little bit. So if I turn Mantra on, you can hear immediately what's going on. So Mantra is essentially like an all-in-one effect workstation for you to get the most desirable tones possible. So if I am applying this to my vocals, you can see right off the rip when I start this up, it says sculpt your sound. So if I click start analysis and I start talking into this, it's gonna listen to the tone of my voice and sculpt the EQ to make my vocals sound the best that they can. So this is gonna be, you know, just a pretty rough guesstimate. You can mess with the EQ in here. So first of all, you can turn down the effect of the EQ. You can see how it affects the shape right there. So I'm gonna turn that down to about here. I think that sounds pretty good. There's a noise gate, so you can get rid of that background noise. So if I have it all the way down here and I go silent, if you have a de-esser to get rid of the harsh S's, you can see it working there. I'm gonna turn this up actually because we don't want those. Another EQ, compressor, saturation. There's even more stuff up here. You know, there's a tuner, so you can change the key up here and get a really nice sound at auto tune. So one thing that I like about this tuner specifically is that it sounds very natural. Honestly, it sounds a lot more natural than pretty much every other brand that I've tried before. And that's not them telling me to say anything. That's my genuine opinion. I love it. So I'm gonna get rid of this reverb and everything so it's a little bit easier for y'all to understand me. You might have seen this page and I just clicked in the middle. This is the harmonies. So yes, you can make your own harmonies. This is one of the coolest features I think this plugin has. You can select your key and then select the chord that you want it. Now you can see I click the chord and nothing's happening. So if I go back up here and just click on it again, now we're activated. So I'm gonna start just by soloing one of these takes and then figure out a preset that works best with this. So I really like how that sounds actually. Just really clean. That sounds really good. Sounds really clean. If I just soloed this by itself. Okay, now granted, it doesn't sound amazing because I can't sing for shit, but it definitely makes it sound a lot better than it did before. Sounds usable when you actually layer it on top of something else. Before, that wouldn't have cut it. Cool, so now besides the vocals, I'm actually gonna plug in one of my guitars. So I'm gonna plug in this guitar right here. There we go. I'm gonna try to find a pick somewhere. Cool, so I'm gonna pull Mantra back up. I'm just gonna go over here and then copy it onto there. That sounds really cool. I really like this. I think this one will sound good. Let's see what else we can find. I really like how gritty this sounds. Hey, you know what though? We are not done. Going back to my mic, I'm micing up this, my kalimba. I'm just gonna add a little pluck on top. And then once again, we gonna run it through Mantra, see what kind of cool tone we can come up with. Like that by itself sounds so cool. This one could definitely work. That is super fire, but we are not done even yet. Hey, listen, this is why my one shot sounds so different, man. It's a process to make these. I put a lot of love into them. All right, so look, I'm gonna pull up every sound now that I have. First of all, I'm gonna just play all of the sounds for Mantra by itself real quick so you can hear what it's doing. Cool. And this is the one shot we had before. Now for everything. Crazy. So I'm gonna take this and then just bounce it. It's all one shot. That's 3 different instruments that we use Mantra on. In this one shot, we use it on the kalimba, we use it on my vocals, and we use it on the guitar. But we about to use it one more time. Look, I'm gonna take this one shot. Now I'm gonna duplicate it. Send it to its own channel. I'm gonna put Mantra on this one. So I'm gonna have the original one, and then I'm gonna have one with Mantra that's under it, just to give it even more texture. So I'm gonna go to a different preset. Actually, maybe I'll just try this slow vintage phaser, see how that sounds. That's actually not bad, but I'm gonna duplicate it and just do the same thing again, man. So look at this. Take this, put it on 11, and we just gonna do it again. Find another Mantra preset. I like this. I'm being honest, I'm having a lot of fun with this one shot. Just a couple more small minor things before I finish this up. First of all, I'm gonna pull some noise in from one of my pedals. This is the noise that we're left with. I'm gonna duplicate the one shot that we have once again, but I'm just gonna add some reverb to it. And the good thing about Mantra is that if you love one effect from it, you don't have to use any of the other ones. So I'm gonna go in, disable everything except for the reverb. I really just want this plate reverb. So now I'm just gonna bounce this and see if I ruined it or made it better. That's pretty much all this process is, man. It's a lot of processing and going through stuff and seeing what works and what doesn't, taking stuff out, putting stuff back in. I think that sounds better. That's pretty much it. So you guys got to see a little bit into my process of how I go about, making unique one-shots that are inspiring, usable, but still unique without doing too much. You got to see me be able to fulfill that idea I was going for with Mantra. And big shout out to Neural DSP for sending it over. They didn't ask me to say anything specific about it. Anything good I said about this plugin 100% came from me. I've been using this plugin for a few weeks now, so I've got a little bit of time to play around with it a little bit, and I can honestly say that it definitely helps with my workflow and helping to achieve tones that would have been a lot harder to achieve before or would have required a lot more unnecessary plugins. So again, the really good thing about Mantra is that everything that you need to get a desirable tone is in the plugin. You don't need to go anywhere else outside of it for whatever you might need. And it has a really good sound and pitch correction. I really love it. I'll leave a link to Mantra in the description so you guys can check it out. I appreciate you tapping in like always. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one.